Welcome, everybody, to A Certain Point Askew, the only Star Wars podcast to franchise a Blurg petting zoo. I'm one of your hosts, Jason the Angry Ginger, broadcasting live from Wookiee Studios. I am not alone, though. That laughter in the background is one of the fellow co-hosts, but I'm gonna introduce all of your favorite wretched scum, scoundrels, and smugglers, starting with the man across from me, neighbor Cole.
You had to bring out the blurg right off the bat. Threw me off. I had a whole good introduction planned, and then you fucking...
You didn't read that on the top? I like that you just never see what I'm going to do.
This is the first time I've opened the sheet, so, that's how I do things.
In all 32 episodes?
Fairly soon, Matthew's head's going to explode. Because he puts all this work into it. Just kidding. I've been reading it. I looked through it. I put a question of the weekend. I did my part this week.
I knew it was from you when I read it.
I watched the episodes. Yeah, it might give it away. But yeah, Jay, thanks for having me down to Wookiee Studios, which has been branded Wookiee now since we're doing this podcast.
That's correct.
It's good to be here. I'm a little turned up this morning, a little caffeinated, a little sweaty, so you guys are all gonna have to.
You have a lot going on over there. What's wrong with your body?
I don't know. It's a temple. I treat it as such. Okay. We're not alone though. We have a third micer coming in hot from across the galaxy, if you will. He's here in a hot parsec. We have Darth Mathias. Hey, Matt.
Oh, gentlemen, this bad badge is something, no? That's my cham.
Oui. That's good. I like the French. Yeah. What is that? Twi'lek or
Twi'lek.
What's this? What's the planet? I can't think of it now.
Ryloth.
Jesus.
You were just quoting it.
Just quoting it
4 minutes ago.
Yeah.
As part of your warm up.
Yep.
What's the name of that planet?
I'm here with all my mental faculties intact this morning.
You know, I can't mock you because I never bring all my mental faculties to any podcast, especially one that we're only 60% on. So, with that said, Matt, go ahead and do your spiel. Do some house cleaning.
Yes, you can find our show at from a certain point. I'm a little slow today. From a certain point askew.com. You can find us on Twitter at FACPApod. You can email us FACPApod@gmail.com. So please do all of those things. We love the feedback, and it feeds into our lovely malt. Jesus Christ!
You better put some hair on the dog, buddy.
Just crack one open now.
What were you saying about mental faculties?
Yeah.
I think I cursed the entire opening.
It's contagious. It really is.
Oh, God.
Do you need a glass of ice water?
Jesus.
You're like, his hangover is leaking onto you.
I'm sweating like a fat kid chasing a...
You can't, you can go get a malt if you want, but you can get a mall hilt from us if you quote tweet the show, write us a review. We'd like some more reviews. Please do that. Or email the show for our mall bag, and you'll get entered into the contest to win the mall hilt that Mr. Darth Flamingus has created for us. So, and we've been tweeting out pictures of that. So please reach out to the show and do that.
I think second runner up, we're going to send you a gallon of ice cream and some malt mix.
Malt. Now I'm starting to think we need to do something with that malt. That could be a product that we can peddle.
Darth Maul's malt mix. Coming to FactPlus soon.
Trademarked.
Yep.
You can find it on our website.
I was going to mention too. I have not really been watching a lot of the Loki stuff. My family does. I've kind of been checking in and out on it, but watching just bits of it, I was thinking, oh my God. Cole, I know you don't like them or get into the Marvel stuff as much. You would hate the show if you've not watched it because it is timeline fucking bananas.
Yes.
It would mess your head up.
Well, I figured it would be. So I just I got 15 minutes into it and I said, this is not for me.
Yeah, by the end your head would explode.
Absolutely.
Like when they the catalyst of releasing the multiverse on everything, you would be like, ah!
Now, I wonder if I used to be normal at one point. I got in a car accident when I was 15 and had significant head
My
injury.
head hurts.
My head hurts. I almost died. But I wonder if before that I was able to do time. So there's another big hole in me. Like I'm usually pretty top of my game on most things.
There's another big hole in me. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's another dark chasm that needs penetration and shining light into. But no, I can't do timelines very well, and I can't do family trees. Like fucking people's, it's so weird. Like you say my stepbrother, and I'm like, what is that? I try to figure it out. Like stepbrother, half sister, uncle, cousin, like all that stuff. He's my second cousin twice removed.
How do you watch Star Wars? Luke and Leia are twins.
I take notes on my arm.
Okay.
Okay, that means their father.
Like I had that problem with Game of Thrones.
No, normal families.
I could not keep track of Game of Thrones.
I can do the immediate family: Grandpa, Peepog, Meemaw. You know.
Right.
all that. But like when it starts like with half brother, half sister, step cousin, step brother, all that shit, I'm just like, well, can they sleep together? They're not really like, related.
So that's where you need to know the.
That's what I first go to. Like,
Okay.
Who can I and who can I not have sex with?
Those are two very specific blind spots. I just love that. Family trees, timelines. Everything else I'm good.
Dark holes. I don't have sex with old ladies for money or bear traps. Those are my two bugaboos.
Okay, so on the show today, we've got a question of the week. Sentence him is our line there. We've got some news. Making of Mando Season 2 finale with Luke. And Book of Boba Fett will be gritty. That's the news.
Well, also the one that you added late, which just came in.
Yes, which is some big time Kenobi casting we're going to talk about. And I'm excited about that one. I think I'll be more excited after we watch the season 2 finale thing with Luke. That'll be fun to talk about. But in the news portion, I'm excited about what's going on with Kenobi. We've also got, we're going to be covering the Bad Batch episodes 11 and 12. That's the meat and potatoes of this episode. And then we've got the Maul Bag. Only one damn email. So people, we're coming after you. We've seen the list. We know the numbers. We know there's more than one listener. So you all owe us at least one email. Mm-hmm. I mean, every listener who listens to this, there can't be one listener who's like, I'd be better off without a Darth Maul hilt.
And
I don't need that.
Every one of our listeners except Mike Laybourne, you can eat a dick.
So now Mike Laybourne you're cool with him.
Yeah, him and I we've mended what's been between us.
Worked it out. That's good.
Yeah.
And we'll wrap up the show with a Fact Puff Factoid, or I like to call it a Factpatoid. So yeah, those are the big things we're doing. Let's go into the question of the week.
Okay, question of the week.
You have been.
Were you doing that
On purpose.
on purpose? Okay. Yeah, no, Matt loves to edit, so just
Yeah,
we'll just
I
keep
do.
fucking around. All right, now for the question of the week. You have captured and tried the infamous Mike Laybourne for the crimes of uttering slanderous propaganda and fomenting insurrections against the Empire. He is to be sentenced
Do
to
you
death.
lube up when you start throwing vocabulary around?
How do you know this is from me?
Oh, I have no clue. I think Mike Laybourne
This
might be a
isn't
big.
full of big words like vocabulary, or locabulary.
Where are you?
Locarbulary.
Every new listener that just I'm gonna give this Fact Puff show a try, and then we really are showing our
You're
idiocy.
really gonna have your hands
These
full.
guys
here.
can't talk. I'm out.
Yeah. You're gonna really shine this turd up with the editing.
They're
Yeah.
gonna send an email and they're just gonna say, "You guys suck. Unsubscribe." Thanks. Thanks
Put you in. We'll put you in for the malt
You're in
hilt.
for the malt.
Or the malt.
Thanks for rating and reviewing the show.
We'll put you in for the malt hilt. All right. Long and short of it, he is to be sentenced to death, which is should be celebrated. Which of the following is a just fate for this treacherous scum? A. Walk the plank into the Sarlacc pit. B. Carbonite freeze, which is kind of like a Demolition Man-esque sentence in and of itself. So not death, but I guess you just permanent carbonite.
Mm-hmm.
A headshot from crosshairs. I like that one. And then impaled by the Darksaber, but it's Vlad the Impaler style, where he sets you up on it, mounts the Darksaber into the ground, and he slowly goes down it.
Okay.
And it comes out your collarbone area.
Nice.
And then lastly, but not least,
Burns going in, feels good coming out.
drawn and quartered slowly by four blurg.
I
added that one at the end.
I feel like if Mike Laybourne's getting mouthy, it's definitely drawn and quartered slowly by 4 blurgs.
Should we just put him on
watch
there?
it slowly.
Yeah, and then if he repents, we let him live.
And it's like the untrained blurg, before Mando gets on it for the 3rd time and steadies the beast.
Yeah.
It's got to be the angry ones.
Channels the old Minotaur.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to go back real quick because you said headshot from crosshairs. This morning when I was turning on the episode and I'm watching, he shows up. I go, ooh, crosshairs. and then I'm like, no one's here to listen to me.
Patting yourself on the back.
You say, still single, ladies, if anyone's listening.
Yeah. Did you? And then if you read the synopsis, the copy to paste synopsis, I went through and added an S to all of Crosshair.
Oh boy.
You do good work.
Oh man, I'm here for the week.
Yeah, I think I was kind of angling toward walk the plank, but then I think having you describe the impalement, that would leave Mike Laybourne's entrails hanging out. And anytime you get entrails involved, I'm in. So sorry, Mike.
Oh, sorry, Mike, that you we just picked nothing personal. We just
was
picked
a
a random
random
listener. I
yeah.
got a random drawing, and it just happened to have landed on you. And I more than likely the question for next week won't be centered around you. I'm just saying right now for a little foreshadowing.
Speaking of entrails, have you guys ever read the Iliad by any chance?
Like in high school?
Yeah, some of it.
Or was it the Odyssey?
The Odyssey and the Iliad. The Odyssey you probably read because that one tends to get more attention. The Iliad which is talking about the Trojan War. It is so specific with how people die, and so I was reading it to the consultant, and it's like the spear penetrated, his above his belly button and ripped through his intestines, and it's like like gets real specific. It is disgusting.
Really? How old is the consultant?
He is 12. He's ready for that.
He's old enough to know what life is like.
I mean, it's a piece of history, bud.
Right.
Might as well.
I know. I just think it's so specific. It's like that. It's like there's a video game. There's a sniper video game where the mode shows the bullet go through and like break your orbital bone and shit. Like it gets real. Yeah.
Oh.
I can't remember the name of that game. Sniper Elite or something like that. Anyway.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. Yeah. Real specific.
Super Mario snipers. Kids are just so desensitized nowadays anyway, so. That's another little, we'll have to camp on that point later on. They need to just remind me, guys, that we need to figure out what level of violence we're on here with the Bad Batch, because it goes from like some crazy shit to like, well, let me turn this blaster on stun and just take this guy down, you know what I mean? So
Or
let's get some continuity
Or maybe produce 2 episodes and there's barely an action scene. I'm just saying. Like, it got I think the height of the tension was them climbing a wall.
That's the Michael Bay and him coming out. Where are the fucking explosions?
That's so true.
He's got to have it. I don't care about storyline, backstory, plot. Where's the fire?
All right, let's get into the news. So the first one is the Making of Mandalorian Season 2 finale with Luke. So the story came out that they're releasing, I think it's on August 25th. They're going to release kind of a behind the scenes and show you how they shot that, which I can't wait to see, because I rewatched the last half of it recently, the finale. And I mean, the emotions still hit. It's as much as it's like spine tingly for seeing Luke and all that whole scene of him walking through the halls and them watching it on video and all that.
Yes. The buildup is excellent.
Yeah, but that part's great, and I even kind of like the music they chose. And I know a lot of people wanted them to like use the Luke theme. It's like, you can't. That's dead giveaway.
What would have given it away?
Yeah, but
not for me.
Except for Cole.
Fucking subtitles could have been Luke Skywalker walks in. You'd have been like, who?
I thought he was dead.
I don't get timelines.
I don't know timelines.
Yeah.
Is he
be a different one?
Is he related to Leia? I don't get this. But then you get the goodbye from Mando and Grogu, and it's just like, I forgot how emotional that whole thing was to go back and watch it again was the same thing. I was just sitting there weeping in my underwear. Just kidding. I don't wear underwear.
Cheetos dust all over his chest.
But I can't wait to see what the actors saw, because they have some of them came out later and said like they didn't even know until the episode showed up. Right. They had no idea he was in the scene. It was just a Jedi they were operating with. So I'm really anxious to see how they filmed it.
Man, they that's kind of sucks. Like they can't, they're asking questions like, so who's this Jedi? So let me I want to know if I know him, or I want some character backstory so I can, blah, 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 like act or whatever, given all the reasons to find out who it was. And like, no, you don't even know who it is.
I wonder if they did like,
I work here, goddammit.
You know when they try to hide an ending in movies or something, they'll shoot like 3 or 4 different endings so the actors, or even when they did Lost, they shot different things so nobody knew the actual ending, so they couldn't give it away. I wonder if they did that on the set, where like all of a sudden just like Wolf Trapper is the one that shows up to save Baby Yoda, and then they keep subbing different people in throughout the series,
right?
And they never know, and then this guy's just standing in a robe. Just work with this.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, like the 12th hour of the day, shooting's been going on. They're just fucking whatever this is. Let's just get over with.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating part. Or like if you do a whole throw yourself into a scene and you think it was really, really good, and then it never makes it into the show, right? Like that type of stuff. That's got to be frustrating for sure.
Oh, I'm sure. But I just think it's going to be cool. It's not going to be like the extensive season 2 look, but I think that's all you need to show is that.
I love the behind the scenes stuff. I've never been a big behind the scenes person until like started like recently, and I kind of miss that because you don't get a lot of that on like Netflix. Unless you buy the DVD, like Lord of the Rings stuff, Star Wars stuff, you get to see the extra stuff and all the stuff like that. It's just, I said stuff a lot.
Well, the gallery, the Making of the Mandalorian, the season 1 was awesome, and then they did 1 episode for season 2, right? And now this will be the second part.
I think it's because of the fact that there was so much to show as far as how they were filming it and all that stuff and the music and all those things. They don't, I don't think they want to go back and revisit all that again. So it made sense.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they're showing kind of the big scenes. And so I can't wait. I think it's going to be pretty sweet to see.
And this is August 25th, right?
25th, yeah.
Which is the week after Bad Batch ends.
Yeah, right. Which makes sense.
All right.
New
Well,
content.
you know what we're doing that week?
Yeah, we'll have something to record on.
Yep.
So Book of Boba, we're getting closer to that. At this point, we're about 5 months away, and they, wrapped up filming, and we're kind of waiting for a trailer, which I'm thinking we're not going to see probably till like October or something.
Yeah.
But Brendan Wayne, who is John Wayne's grandson,
Yep.
he plays the body in the armor, I guess, for Mando, and he had quite a bit to say. He said, he was talking about the show, and he said, I think that's what we as an audience I think are going to get from the Book of Boba Fett, a lot more of that kind of feel. He gets even grittier than Mando did. I feel like he doesn't have the choice because he really was a different kind of character. So he's talking about how I don't think we're going to have this little cute little Grogu character kind of thing with Book of Boba. It's going to be much grimier, grittier series, which I think is going to be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of solely made for adults, right? Like, or not solely, but like if it's adult, we've been clamoring for that for a while.
More
like,
geared toward that.
More geared toward the kids who grew up on Boba Fett, Star Wars, Han Solo type of that timeline. But yeah, like I think that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Like I've always wanted an R-rated Star Wars. That doesn't sound like it's gonna be that.
I don't think
Right,
it'll be
but
quite that. Yeah.
I'm surprised by like what Disney has been allowing because they're really protective of their family brand.
Yeah.
But they do let Marvel, and so far, that episode is when they introduced Boba Fett was pretty. I mean, he fucking busting heads, and granted, there's no blood or anything, but it was fairly violent for something you see on Disney. And even like you mentioned Loki, there's a couple times I think I've heard the shit drop. There's a couple of swear words, and I'm like, oh, we're watching the Disney Channel, so they're not blanketing everything like covered. Like they're kind of letting it be, a little bit more aggressive when it doesn't. I mean, it's got the Disney brand, I guess, but I don't know. Like to me, I watched that because like I know that was a big fear, and you see people on the internet still bitching about, it's been shit. Star Wars has been shit since Disney took over. I don't think that's true.
Well, I think I watched Space Jam last night, the new one with LeBron James, and
he drops F-bombs like crazy in it. Get the fuck out of here, Bugs.
Yeah. It was no, but I actually stopped for a second. I was like thinking to myself, like, man, this is kind of like they did some like adult humor, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're always known for kind of throwing in adult humor that kids wouldn't get.
Looney Tunes is
In like they did the thing where they sub out a word for a swear word, right? Instead
Okay.
of so they did that a couple times. I was like, wow, that's kind of shocking. I'm like, this is Disney, this is Space Jam,
Well, no, it's Warner Brothers.
right? But it was on Disney.
False.
Oh, it was on HBO Max.
Yes.
Yep, you're right. Never mind. I'll shut the fuck up. Then. I'm just completely stupid. I thought we were watching that on Disney for some reason.
Probably because it's animated. You were thinking that?
My kids were both just bitching. This isn't as good as the original. I was like, I love you guys.
Really?
Michael Jordan's better than LeBron James. Yes. I love you kids.
Was to plant on that real quick, did they just sell out? Like I've been seeing like Warner Brothers basically took all their IPs,
It's
like anything that was good in, they just like
they tried to Ready Player One at times,
Yes.
a couple times, and then like, man, say what you want about LeBron James as a sports figure and a whatever. That motherfucker's a terrible actor. Jesus Christ, it was cringy. Like trying to watch him one line things.
What was he in? He was in that movie with Bill Hader.
Trainwreck.
Yeah, Trainwreck. There you go.
And he was kind of funny in that, but I mean, it was sort of like you didn't have to carry anything.
Well, he was playing himself.
Yes. Well, that's true. Like, but he was like wasn't he like an asshole version of himself?
Was he? I don't remember. I thought he was just like Hader's buddy, like kind of essentially. They were like giving each other shit and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I saw it once when it first came out. It was a funny movie.
Yeah. Just to wrap up on that Book of Boba stuff, Cole, your boy Robert Rodriguez, while strumming his guitar, his quote was, "All killer, no filler."
Yep.
That's what he said.
Oh, nice. He's
So.
gonna make a song.
I think Rodriguez is the right person to bring in. Like, he's got enough clout where he's not going to like water something down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't bring Rodriguez in and then be like, well, we want you to, spy kids this, but even to a lesser degree.
Right. Well, we saw that they're bringing in Filoni, Favreau, and Bryce Dallas Howard are all going to do directing some episodes. So it's going to be good. I can't wait.
They got their squad for sure. They like to use those directors. So I like that.
Very, very excited.
And then you brought this last news item. So do you want to set that up, Jay?
Yeah, there was Jordan. What's his name? I think I got it right here on my Twitter. Nope, I lost it. I think it's Jordan Mason. He posted last night that he had confirmation from a second source finally that he'd been hearing about the casting of Leia. The Illuminati, we've talked about them before. They posted a while ago that there was talk that both Luke and Leia as children were going to be in it, but then it was kind of left there.
Do you mean the Illuminati?
That's what I said. Yes.
Because the Illuminati's telling us about it. Holy shit.
We better listen.
I better go check my QAnon website real quick.
So they discussed the casting of that. Do I have the article up here?
I do.
So they are casting as young Leia. You've seen her in Bird Box and We Can Be Heroes, which was also wasn't the We Can Be Heroes the Netflix sequel to Shark Boy Lava Girl, which was Robert Rodriguez as well?
Oh, was it? I don't know that. Sorry.
It just came out on Netflix. It's Vivian Lyra Blair, I think she was the young daughter to Sandra Bullock in Bird Box. So we're going to see her as Leia. And actually, it's like they're saying it's, where's the...
Well, they said something about how she's going to be a part of the reason that he goes off on an adventure is Leia.
The stuff dealing with Leia is pretty much the impetus for the whole show and what gets Obi-Wan into another adventure.
Right.
So this is probably like... And then there's talks of Sang Kang, who plays... Oh, fuck, what's his name in the Fast and the Furious movies?
You're asking the wrong cat.
They want justice for Han.
Yes.
He plays Han in the Fast and Furious movies, and he was shown as the cast list when they first announced everybody, but no one knew who he was playing or who basically anyone that they've shown the faces are playing. But it said that he's going to play the fifth brother, and one of the Inquisitors, who we've seen in the Rebels movies or the Rebels show.
He's the one who looks like he's from the Revolutionary War. He has the tricorner hat.
Right.
For those of you who remember Rebels.
He's a big, bulky son of a bitch,
huge,
too. And and he's also got the spinning saber, right?
No, he's got a musket.
He's got a powdered wig.
Yeah, right.
Powdered
exactly.
wig.
Did you powder my toothbrush?
His teeth were made of wool.
For liberty!
The rebels are coming.
Aim small, miss small, children.
I think we all kind of had an idea that Inquisitors were going to show up, but it's cool to see that sounds like that's exactly what's going to happen because, you have to include them. It just makes sense.
It says both of my sources seemed pretty confident when they said that Kang was playing none other than the fifth brother, and it also goes on to say that there are other characters that we've seen in Rebels that will be not introduced, but I guess it's live action into this Kenobi show too. So probably several Inquisitors, and I'm going to go out. I think we're going to see Homegirl. Her name escapes me right now because we're podcasting. Who?
Hera?
No, the
Mon Mothma.
The Jedi girl, the
Leia.
sister witch. What's her name?
Penny Marshall.
Yes, yes. Laverne and Shirley are going to be in Star Wars.
You never know.
Oh, you're talking the Night Sisters?
Just the one.
Asajj?
Asajj Ventress.
Yes, yes. I think we're getting a little bit of that.
When our powers combine.
The Leia thing's really interesting, and it just reminds me of the regret I have for not sending my two boys down to get cast in that. That is a huge missed opportunity, because if they got that, could you imagine the insider info we'd have?
I know. And they'd never know it was coming from one of your kids.
No, they would never know that. It's just a lack of foresight on my part. I apologize. I apologize to all our listeners. Should we get into the Bad Batch?
Well, there's. I did want to say one more thing I wrote down was, did you see Zack Snyder talking about his Star Wars movie that was to be?
I've seen it before where he's talked about it, and then now he's trying to do like a science fiction movie that's non-Star Wars that he has ideas for, right?
I mean, he's basically taking the story and taking the Star Wars out of it and making it its own IP for Netflix. So, but I remember years ago when they were first starting to talk about making other Star Wars movies that Snyder was going to do was like the Seventh Samurai, right? The Magnificent Seven, but do it like in the Star Wars universe. So I wonder if this is still that idea.
Fucking fantastic idea.
Yeah, yeah. And this is it's called Rebel Moon. So he's even kind of playing with that still. I don't know if that's just
what is with the Seven Samurai or the spaghetti westerns and like all that stuff. That's such a big influence for like Tarantino, Zack Snyder. Like they all love that old style. Like there's something to do with that.
Well, and I think also for what we saw in The Mandalorian big time.
Yes.
Yeah, Sergio, what is his name? Sergio Leone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the Western, but
Western
it's based off of why does his name escape me?
He sounded like Admiral Trench.
Yeah. Y'all know who I mean? That's what I'm talking about.
That guy.
All right. So anyway, yeah, I'm curious to see like when the film happens, like if you can still find the elements of what maybe that was going to be, you know?
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen a Zack Snyder Star Wars movie.
Absolutely, yeah.
apparently that's not happening. But this will be a fun movie. And yeah, that's it for the news this week. Let's Bad Batch this.
Well, it wouldn't be a Bad Batch recap without me talking about the fact that the visuals again were unreal. The Ryloth, there were a couple of scenes on Ryloth that were fucking beautiful. They just continue to knock it out of the park with the visuals, and I'm just blown away by some of the stuff they do. It's pretty sweet. Quick sidebar on the Bad Batch. You know, the way they go about the storytelling, namely the characters they include. This was brought up on Twitter, and our boy Darth Flamingus and others have been getting a little bit, I don't know, uncomfortable with the fact that like they're bringing so many familiar characters. It's like, I think they're kind of wanting to see more, you know. It's like too many cameos, too many callbacks, etc. And so you're seeing. I'm not trying to put you on blast here, Dave, but it's a common sentiment you're seeing on Star Wars Twitter. The beauty that is Star Wars Twitter, and so a lot of people are saying that. And I was just wondering what your guys' thoughts were, because from the start of this show, it just felt like it was trying to bridge the gap between Clone Wars and Rebels, and that seems like that's why you're seeing a lot of these characters introduced. You know, they obviously start with Order 66. They give us Kanan early. Now we're getting Hera. So to me, it makes sense that they're trying to fill in those gaps, you know, that are there in the story, and just by, you know, kind of fleshing it out a little bit more.
Personally, I like it. I think it's a genius way to, well, not necessarily genius, but it's going to be a creative way to kind of bring those three worlds together. You're going to have Rebels, or you have Clone Wars, you have Rebels, and then between you got Bad Batch. It's kind of where you're like, did I get that timeline right, guys?
You did.
Okay. And then you're gonna it's gonna bridge them all together. It's gonna be a wondrous, glorious thing. I'm more excited to see how they're gonna accomplish it, and I want to see who's gonna make it through at the end. You know what I mean? Like, are the Bad Batch gonna go off and live in obscurity, or are they gonna all fucking die? Like, that's the beauty of the whole unknown. As we're watching this episode by episode, you can't just go through and like splurge and watch the whole thing. But yeah, I'm just excited to see. I'm enjoying the journey, and like I love learning more and more and more. And also, like, Hera pops up in this episode, and I'm like, man, like it just refreshes everything about Rebels again for me, because I'm like, where is she? And then I'm like, I know that's her dad. I know I've seen him in a couple things from the Clone Wars. I've seen him in the Rebels a few times. I'm trying to remember what his name was, and it's like it comes to me. So I don't know. It's just like a good way to overall increase your knowledge too, and I'm enjoying it. I like what they're doing.
Well, Filoni's involved in all of it, so I mean, he's got a big story to tell. And even though I have some gripes about these episodes, he's always going back, and he did this in the Clone Wars. You know, there was always spots where he'd go back and revisit something, or he'd pick up a story that was you know, kind of left alone. You get a little bit more of it whether you need it or not. And like the overall story, I mean, this kind of fits into things, right? The political stuff, like everything that's going on. And if they're gonna like tell this version of a story, they might as well use a character we already like empathize or sympathize with, right? Because it was like bringing in the two sisters earlier in the season, right? We were annoyed by them last season, or the seventh season of the Clone Wars, but using them this time made sense because we already knew who they were. You know, so it was like, boom, we can go off and run. We don't have to introduce a character. There's no setup. We don't have to be like, who are they? Are they good? Are they, you know? So I mean, it makes sense. I see what they're saying, but you're not going to fucking please anybody. Like there's half the audience is going to want to see a character again, and then there's another one's like, well, you're just doing this to placate, you know. So shut the fuck up and enjoy it.
I think there's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of deal here, because it's like whenever there's a new character, the immediate response is, well, then why don't they show up later? Where are they? But then if it's a familiar character, it's like, well, why do they keep using all these familiar characters? It's like, well, what do you want?
Pick your poison. Now, real quick, and I know this we don't ever get political on this show, but
I'm a separatist.
Thank you. I want to know your opinion, Matt, because from like my side of the aisle, we're polar opposites pretty much, Matt and I, when it comes to political stuff. Like there's political undertones going through this entire thing. I don't seem to find, like, I feel like looking at this, like both sides, like they do it in a good way, like a genius way. I think both sides of the political aisle can almost identify with a lot of the themes that run through this.
Oh yeah.
Like they're smart in the way that they don't really.
They did the same in The Mandalorian.
Right, like you could take the big government argument with the Empire, and then you could take like, you know, rebellion is needed too. Like it's like they don't really seem to pick a side. Like they run right down the middle almost. Do you seem to find that?
So you're putting the left on the Empire. You're saying the Empire.
I didn't say anything. I did not specify, sir. I did not. I specifically did not specify.
Pretty
for that
sure
reason.
George Lucas was doing a Nazi thing there, but that's okay. We can.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that, like, well, everything in Hollywood, it typically leans left, but I feel like I don't get that vibe from any of the Star Wars stuff. Maybe it's just my hopeful, like, wishing.
Well, I don't think they hit you over the head with it, and so I think that they certainly. You're right. They they demonstrate, and they've done this in the movies too, where it's like, don't think just because there's no white hats and black hats here. Because I think when you first watch Star Wars, it's real clear. Darth Vader, Empire bad, Rebels good. But but in the newer stuff, you're seeing that they're diving into that a little bit deeper to show you that it's not so cut and dried.
I was seeing something recently that people were complaining, like if they're going to keep doing the Star Wars stuff, they need to leave the politics out of it. And I don't remember who the quote came from exactly. It might have been Filoni. I don't know, but they said you can't have a war without politics. Like it's there.
Von Clausewitz.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's completely true.
There was a tweet that was about that too, and I can't remember the tweet at all, but it was basically alluding to that you don't want politics in Star Wars, and then they like laid out the very beginning of the whole show. They're like, you mean like this, like the first original trilogy, and they lay it all out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course it's going to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
Leaves it up to interpretation, I think, too. Because my immediate thoughts with like everything going on, like with Cuba going on right now, right? Like I thought about that was like, is this going to lead, like when we saw that big like group of people gathering, I'm like, oh, there's going to be some sort of rebellion right here. And like that's what my first, what I was drawn to, but that's because that's what's been in the news lately. It didn't end up like that, but like
Cuba needs a Saw Gerrera.
Interesting.
And on that note,
political talk is now. What do they call it? Where they fucking
table
put
it.
a pin in it.
I'll put a pin in it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
there you go.
Yeah.
So let's get into this episode. So we open up on Ryloth. I'm interested to hear what Jay's gripes are with these episodes.
Me too. Yeah, I'm kind of interested as well.
Do you want to do it as we go, or do you want to just throw it out there at the start?
I'll go as we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we start on Ryloth. The Empire's taken charge, setting up that refinery and all that, and the people are obviously not happy because it's basically a military occupation. And then you get Vice Admiral Rampart, who's getting quite a lot of airtime these days, is trying to get Orn Free Ta. Oh, that guy's back. That guy sucks.
Him and his triple chin.
Yeah.
He can get out of here.
Fat fucking clown. Anyway. He's trying to get his people on board, and Cham is kind of there and looking very reluctant to be involved and very like defeated, but like real thinking that he's kind of got to go along with this for the sake of his people and trying to get to peacetime and all that kind of thing. And we get to see Eleni, I think that's how you say her name, his wife, which we didn't see before in Rebels,
right?
Because she's dead. So right when that happened, and you see that, I'm like, oh no, we're gonna see, and there was a lot of buzz on Twitter about that. Like, are we gonna see her die?
Especially like when you realize, oh, they're going to do a second episode that carries on to this. So, and by then she's been captured. So you're like, oh, yeah, we're going to see. But no, maybe not.
So yeah, you've got Cham, who's kind of like reluctant, and he's kind of like being the mouthpiece for, what's his name? Orn Free Ta, whatever. He's being the mouthpiece to kind of, because everyone respects him, right? He was the leader during the Clone Wars.
This is almost the same setup as we saw like 2 or 3 episodes ago.
And they kind of like prod him, like, come up here and speak to the people. And they're disarming the citizens. They're disarming their army, and they're like disarming
Turn
the
your
citizens.
guns in for cupcakes.
Turn in your guns, and we got the Empire here now to protect us, and we're free. It's peacetime, blah, 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 blah. So, like...
That was an interesting conversation between the husband and wife, right? When they're discussing that they've been at war, they want to protect themselves, and like, we did all of this for so long. When is the time to finally stop and enjoy life?
Yes, yeah. Cham says that to Gobi, his friend. He's like, "What's the purpose of all this fighting if you can't enjoy peace once you attain it?"
Right.
Now, are they friends or are they related?
No, I think she just calls him Uncle.
Calls
Gobi.
him Uncle.
Uncle
Gobi.
I think he's just a friend, and we see him in Rebels, I believe, as well. I think he shows up, so you do see him.
He's the blue guy. Oh, Gobi Glee is
Gobi
his name,
Glee.
right?
Yeah. I love though how Orn Free Ta's like, "Hey, abandon your military post," and everybody's just like, "Fuck you!" And then Cham comes up and he's like, "Guys, they fought for us. Like, they helped us. We need to respect that and like let them protect us." And they're like, "Cool."
Yeah.
It immediately changed.
We like you.
And I'm watching. I was like, why does this one senator have so much power? They got one senator per planet.
Typically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually that.
So they're putting up a Dunium, whatever that is, Dunium mine on Ryloth, right? So the Empire, and then the head dick in charge for the clones is...
The what?
Head dick in charge.
Okay, I thought that's what you said.
HDIC?
Yeah, HDIC. Is Howzer is his name? Right?
Yes.
So he's the head clone, and like, do you guys remember him from
No,
anything?
he's never been in anything before.
He has taken over We talked about Star Wars Twitter. He has taken over Star Wars Twitter, Howzer. People are in love.
Yes.
It has a lot to do with that awesome haircut. That our friends over at the Clone Cast have gone crazy on Twitter about how his tight haircut and how great it looks and all that. And the thing that's funny is, hey, he could take that helmet off and on. Doesn't affect the hair. Just fucking perfect every time. It's like this guy who's on my hockey team. We refer to him as Lego hair. Because he'll take his helmet off and you're like, it's perfect. How do you do that?
He's got a wicked flow, bud.
He's the same as what's his face from The Mandalorian.
I was just gonna try. I was trying to pull his name as you were saying.
I've lost it.
Justified.
Are you talking about the actor?
Timothy Olyphant's character.
Cobb Vanth. Or yeah.
Yes. Remember we used to mock that? Like Cobb Vanth would take that helmet off and he was just like the hair was just beautiful every time. Yeah. Let's use that Pert Plus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much a Howzer Cobb Vanth vibe. Yeah, for sure.
Now, this Howzer, people have kind of taken to him. Do you think that the chip?
Great question. Because the thing is, he very much seems torn by what's happening, and obviously later, even more so. But he's like real skeptical about what's going on, and so it makes you think. So, was he on Ryloth when all the Order 66 stuff went down? There were no Jedi around, so he didn't really do anything like that. Or is it going to be like all of a sudden, Kanan's going to walk in. He's going to be like, guys, I don't like what the Empire. Oh, hold on. Anyway.
Yeah. So this is. I guess that's into the next episode. I don't want to go into that.
Yeah,
yet,
we won't get there. But
yeah,
it is an interesting question.
It is very interesting, and like,
well, even when we first meet Hera and she's spying on the plant, and then he brings her back and like, look, I'm not going to report this.
Yeah,
that's very unlike what the clone troopers are doing now. Like they've all fallen in line, they're following orders. There's no questions, and then this guy seems to have a conscience. You know, he has free thinking.
Yeah, no, it's true, and so it makes you think. So what does the chip do? Was the chip a one-off? Like, because it seems like you're saying, it seems like everybody's continuing to be driven by, this one order, versus was it just a one-time, let's kill all the Jedi, okay, now we're just back to being regular soldiers? I don't know.
Now they ramped up Crosshairs, right?
Yes.
Like they ramped his up big time because he's continually just nonstop. I'm on the Empire's dick. Like, just let me fucking do whatever you need me to do.
Let me get that Emperor tip.
Yeah. On that Emperor piece. Yeah, I mean, like he's amped up. Now I wonder if it's something that they can like send out and keep pulsing and hitting. Like send them another Order 66 and then they activate it again. And then so it takes over their mind for like, I don't know, the immediate future, like a month, and then it starts to kind of wear off and they start kind of reverting back.
They just got to upload a new code. Yeah.
Or maybe they need to update it over the Wi-Fi. Who knows? But
maybe Howzer is unplugged from the Wi-Fi, so he has not gotten that further orders.
He could be off the grid.
Maybe there's no Imperial Wi-Fi out on Ryloth. They don't send the signal out that far.
They didn't send the password.
Right. Yeah.
Incorrect password.
Yeah, he's an interesting character though. Everybody's just kind of become totally enamored with him. But it's cool to see a clone that's like actually thinking about it. That not one of the ones we've already seen, who we assume has the chip, but is still like you said, using his free will.
So our speculations seemed to be incorrect. We thought that the Bad Batch were going to be clear of Sid and no longer doing missions, and that they were going to go into something new. But apparently, they are delivering weapons to Ryloth under Sid. Because of Sid, right?
I love that they get 30 seconds in their own show.
There's gripe number one.
Here it comes. Come on, man.
I was like, hey, we're cameoing in a show that's named after us.
Well, I understand why, and then of course in the second part,
it pays off in the second part. Yeah,
yeah.
But it was a weird way to use them. It was jarring. I see what they did after the 2 episodes and that story, and it pays off for like what the Empire's doing, but it was a lot of story to not include the Bad Batch.
I think there's so much there because of it being Ryloth, something we're familiar with. We know Cham is trying to set all that stuff up and the Empire's occupation, and then introducing Hera. They wanted to give a little bit of space there for us to see kind of where Hera came from. I mean, she's there. Chopper's there, for fuck's sake.
Right.
And I miss Chopper so much. I love that little
and then Hera's got that accent, and you're like, well, wait a minute. She doesn't have the accent later. So
yes.
She sheds that accent as she goes along. So that just makes me think, in Rebels, like if she ever got just drunk as fuck, that accent would come right back out. You guys can peace off. Yeah. But it was interesting to see. The other thing that I thought was interesting was the timeline. Sorry, Cole. Is because I think on Wikipedia they had her listed as like born in 29 BBY or whatever, But that wouldn't line up with what we see here because this is like maybe 18, 19 BBY, whatever it's supposed to be. And she's like 14, maybe 15. So she's a little bit older than they were originally thinking, I think Wikipedia was thinking. Don't you think she's like 14 in this?
I would 10, 12 maybe.
Really? No, I wouldn't say she's that young. She doesn't act very childlike.
She's a teenager, I think.
Yeah.
My head's going to explode.
Sorry.
So you just stop. Stop it.
Then we should really
We're
park
talking
on
like
this.
plus or minus 5 years here, guys. So shut the fuck up, please. Please.
Well, that's a lot if they're under 18, Cole.
That's very true. Make or break you.
Yeah.
15 will get you 20, my friend.
Well, and to your point, I thought when they went to the moon and, Crosshairs tags them. So if they're saying that Sid sent them, is this now or are we doing that out of order shit? Is this a non-chronological order thing given the fact that they had freed their debt, with Sid? Is this meant to be placed back? Like, you know what I mean? How they come out with that list for Clone Wars where they give you the order.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like this almost would have happened before, but perhaps not. I don't know.
Like you'll be watching the 3rd season, 7th episode of the Clone Wars, and it takes place in the during the movie, the first movie of the Clone Wars. Yeah.
Yeah. So it seemed like that to me. It seemed a little confusing why they were still working for Sid. I don't understand that. But
The dirty bastard Crosshairs threw a tracking device on the ship, right? And then they all get arrested for
that fucker just happens to be in the right place every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, where's this ship going? Let's just track it.
It's convenient.
because he was probably sitting out there for hours doing nothing. And he's like, oh, got him.
sighting in his rifle.
He just had the one ship that's going to leave and go do a weapons trade. He's like, I got it. I know I got the right ship. Like, come on.
Well, so they end up getting captured by a group of the Imperial stormtroopers come flying in, and like they end up getting. So who gets captured? We get
Gobi.
Who was out there on the? Who was it?
Gobi, Hera, and then
and-
like whoever that other person is. I can't remember their name.
Third girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they get shot down by Crosshairs. And it's interesting, too, because right before that, we really learn that, like, Orn Free Taa is real jealous of Cham and is basically in cahoots with Rampart, which I thought was interesting because that kind of sets up a lot of this stuff, and especially what's about to happen. But, and by the way, I said this on Twitter, I think. Gobi's ship, am I the only one to see? It looks like a hand scanner.
That's what it was. Yes.
It was so weird to me.
It was a really weird design. I'm like, what did they model that after?
Yeah, it looked like that. It looked like you're at Home Depot and you pull out the hand scanner to scan a big item or something like that. That's what it looked like to me. We skipped over Omega and Hera getting buddy on the moon.
Yeah.
So she has her come aboard and shows her around, and that was a really cool scene to show them kind of becoming fast friends and basically showing that they're they're kids still, they're young, and her describing like what it feels like to fly and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was a cool way to introduce them, really setting up their relationship in the second episode, which gets deeper.
Exactly. Yep.
I like the Tech says I can't fly until I learn all the specifications and can recite them, and then she's like, well, flying is more about feeling than I love the different styles, and then that comes to
Oh yeah,
bear
she's got to
later.
feel it out real quick.
Oh yeah, it comes to bear later when they're like in orbit waiting to pick them up on the next episode. It was pretty funny, like the liner Tech has or whatever, or the one liner he throws out. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, and then so when they get shot down, up rolls that like transport, which looks a lot like the Rogue One transport Jin's in when she gets busted out by a K2SO.
Yeah.
Kind of look like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Senator Ta basically says they're insurgents and orders them arrested. And our man Howzer's like, she's just a child. So again, he's like, I don't like this at all. I don't like what this is, where this is going.
You can tell he also has some affection for that family.
Absolutely. He has clearly has a relationship with Cham that goes deep. So
Yeah,
that's why he doesn't like what they're doing. He sees them in a different way, I think.
I did like the twist that happens here.
Yeah. So essentially this is a setup. Because then they agree, they get attacked because Cham finds out that they've been shot down. They go out there. He does that fucking awesome jousting move with the guy on the speeder bike.
Right. Yeah, so he also does a sweet ass javelin throw. He's got like a javelin type thing. And I thought he smoked that dude and killed him when he first hit him and jumps on his speeder, but the dude's like laying on the ground.
Yeah, I don't think he died. Yeah.
Apparently made it through.
Yeah.
But then he goes through and fucking like decapitates a stormtrooper, cuts his head off with that javelin as he's rolling. Right? And then all the other Twi'lek are out there just stunning people. I'm like, well, what are the rules of engagement here, folks? Like, how are we going to operate here? Like, Cham is the vicious fucking killer, like killing people, and the other one else is like, oh, just, zip tie their hands behind their back. And
Well, they had his daughter. He was like, yeah, we're going to get her.
Yeah.
which gets them both caught, which seemed to be the plan all along.
Right.
Along with what's going to happen next is the old switcheroo by, oh, you're dying.
Yeah. What does Rampart say? Thank you for playing your part, Senator. Something like that.
Yes.
And Crosshair takes a shot and hits Orin Free Todd in the side of the head, which, of course, at the time you're thinking, oh, he dead. And then you're like, is he dead? Because then he says you're being charged with attempted assassination. So it's like attempted. So he's not dead.
Well, yeah, they're saying he says he's going to make a full recovery. But I'm like, I think he's dead. And they're just kind of playing that up.
Oh, I thought he was dead.
Well, When Admiral
No, you're right. Yeah.
addresses the people, he says that he's making a recovery. He's expected to recover.
Somebody slowed down the video, and I saw this clip somewhere. I don't know where. But like when he's being carted off, like he's like moving his hand. So I don't know. He might
Does
be
he
alive.
give the old NFL thumbs up?
Yeah.
He's
Mike
paralyzed from the waist down, but
Yeah.
Puts his hand up and he's waving. Hey, guys.
That's the Disney thing right there. You can do a headshot, but he has to survive. Teach the kids that, you can survive these things.
because
get
he
one
is like
hit.
singed right in the whatever
Right.
those things are called. I always forget the name of them. Yeah.
Full frontal lobotomy.
There you go. Hera escapes. Chopper gets Hera out of there, and so that's like the one reprieve is that she gets away, and then Rampart orders Howzer to go find her.
Right. And then when we get to the next episode, then he's not allowed to go find her.
Exactly.
Make up your
He
mind.
changes-
Make up your mind, fella.
Oh, by the way, quick side note here. What's going on with the female Twi'lek ears? Because the men have like humanoid ears, and the women have like pyramids or like
They're like
cones.
they're like little mounds that seem to grow with age.
This is weird to me.
Uh-huh.
The females also have the it looks like a leather braiding on theirs at the ends.
Right.
On not their ears, but their appendages, whatever the fuck those are.
And the men have what
Tattoos.
looks like Hellboy when he grinds down his antlers. The men have those big
Oh,
fucking,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, on the front, like
Yeah.
the little bumps.
Yeah.
Did I lose you at Hellboy?
You did.
Okay.
So that takes us into say it out loud. The next episode.
Rescue on Ryloth.
There you go. So yeah, Rampart asked Syndulas to tell him where Hera is, and they're like, "Fuck off." Uh-oh.
He gives her the Syndulas. He puts the S on the end of it too.
Syndulas. Well, that
The
is plural.
Syndulas. It is plural. I
There's
thought
two
you were
of 'em.
saying, I thought
No.
you should have said the Syndulas. But, so you said Syndulas. Made me think of crosshairs. And I was trying to drink coffee. Sorry.
And then he orders all the Syndulla sympathizers rounded up and jailed. Well, this is bad. We're going in a real
Yeah,
dark
things just
direction
keep
here.
ramping up here. Like turning your guns, we're here to protect you. Oh, you don't like shit, we're arresting you.
Yeah. See, this is like it's going fucking like crazy. Like
Yeah.
things are going nuts over there on fucking Ryloth.
It's they just got to make them all wear a star.
So Howzer, of course, questions this, like rounding up all these people. He's like, "You're going to start an insurgency here. Like, this is a
Right.
bad idea." And he's like, "And I know that Senator Ta was not killed by Cham." And he's like, "Oh yeah, who did it then?" He's like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
You got me.
Like looks down and kicks dirt.
Somebody did it. I know it
Never
wasn't Jim,
mind.
though. I love how people just break so easily on this show. Like Omega is trying to like get the Bad Batch to come in and rescue or whatever, help Hera, and they're like, "We're not doing it. We're outnumbered. The odds are against us." Blah blah blah. And then Omega just like with one lines him, "Well, isn't that what soldiers do?" And then all of a sudden,
And
okay,
Hunter's like,
all
"Oh."
right, we'll do it.
Oh,
And
she knows how to
she
push
does it
those
to him
buttons.
again. Yeah, when she's like, "Well, I would do it for you. You do that for family."
Yeah.
Like
They
he's always
argue-
like,
yeah. They argue about as well as the Mandalorian likes to negotiate. So it's like, okay, whatever. There's a lot of like placating.
It does seem like very much like we always say the dad batch, but it's always like when your kid says something, you're just like, "Oh, I got to make my kid happy." I'll just
Yeah.
let me, yeah.
Well, and it's always Hunter because he's the one with
Yes.
the conscience. You're not going to get anywhere with Tech. He'd be like, "That doesn't compute." He
Right.
wouldn't give a
Hunter
shit.
or Wrecker. Wrecker is always,
Oh, Wrecker's on game for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go wreck that.
Wrecker Ralph. We get to the point where the Bad Batch are like, okay, we're gonna go take a look and see what's what. We're gonna scout this out. No guarantees, but we'll see if we can help you out here.
Case the place out.
And then you get to see a little bit of Hunter's superpowers. Like they're all just proned out doing the dances with wolves, looking out at the buffalo type of a thing.
Tatanka.
The big Tatanka.
Yeah.
Shumani Tatanka. And then, like, all of a sudden, Hunter gets a sixth sense, and he looks over his
Right.
shoulder. There's a probe droid, and he somehow scales the side of this rocky mountain, jumps on top of the probe droid, and fucking
Within seconds.
Yeah.
knives it
Yeah.
right in the fucking eye.
He's like, just a minute, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not like, I see a droid, I'll be back. Just a minute.
Fucking goes down. He goes fucking.
Drops right in front of him. He lands in a superhero pose. Give me my knife back.
Yeah, and that's why they call me Hunter.
But then they know the droid's going to send a signal back, and Crosshairs is going to learn where his brothers are real quickly, so they need to get off that little fucking mountain.
Well, and he's like, at that point, he's like, we're screwed. Like we don't have the element of surprise anymore, so we can't do it. And that's when she hits him with that line of like, that's I would do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Omega digs in on that one. And this is also where you really start to see as the rest of the episode goes by how much Omega is inspiring, not like only guilt tripping the Bad Batch into doing what she wants, but really inspiring Hera to go to that next level. So if you think about it, Omega becomes kind of a really influential character here because she's sparking this person who's going to go on to be like one of the most important generals in the rebellion.
Right. She puts her in the cockpit for the first time. Mm-hmm. She's, forcing her to go to battle. Like, I guess face her fears, like all this shit. So, yeah, it's a big element of who her character becomes.
Yeah, I like how she goes, Hera says, my parents would never approve of this plan. And she's like, I won't tell if you won't.
Yes.
And in the meantime, by the way, Howzer goes and talks to the Syndulas.
Thank you.
He's like, tell me where Hera is. I want to, I'll protect her. And they're like, okay, guy. No way.
Yeah,
we're going to fall for that trap.
Nice try, Cham says. Get out of my fucking
and
face.
He's like, oh, they don't believe me.
Get out of my face, you goddamn buzzard.
Sad,
says to him.
Sad Howzer face comes out again.
Yeah.
It's like the Charlie Brown music.
Yeah. And then meantime, Crosshairs is trying to warn Rampart, like, hey, listen, they're going to fucking come and break him out. Like, he's trying to warn his dumbass, and he kind of gives him, he's like, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm the head dick in charge around these parts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's really trying to swing that thing.
Oh, he's hung. Crosshair?
Oh, yeah, he's skinny dude.
Yeah.
He's going to have a fucking big old fucking...
Yeah, he's got a snake down there.
At the old base, he was known as Tripod.
It's like a war club dangling between his legs. It's amazing. It's impressive. Speaking of...
We're going golfing. I've got my clubs with me.
Did you guys catch the female Death Trooper?
No.
Did you catch the voice?
Yes.
I was wondering, because we had that whole debate about, clones being... How do we get a female clone, right? And they got another one out there.
But no, she's not a clone. These are the people that we saw with Crosshair at the beginning. Remember that?
Yep. When they went down to the planet to find Saw, but he was already gone, and they got in the shootout and they killed the head of the guy. They just shot him, fucking killed him right. And there was that's when they put the Death Troopers together when he gave them the leadership or whatever.
It was when they first introduced them. Tarkin was like,
yeah. Oh, okay, yep. Yeah. They were mercenaries from across the galaxy, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. All right, never mind. I was prepared to fucking have this whole dissertation.
Well,
pay attention. Pay attention, Cole, you fuck. Damn it.
You were onto something, though.
I was onto something. Yeah. I found there is a female. I was right.
So, yeah, you're saying, Crosshair figures out, like, hold on. Because they're blowing up the refinery, essentially, to cause a distraction so that they pull all the reinforcements out and they can get in there and sneak in and save the Syndulas. And Crosshair's like, hold on a second. I know these dudes. We need to like line up right here on this door because they're going to try to come out of this door.
I like how they show it without saying it though. Like the camera pans back as he watches all the ships taking off and leave, and it's like, oh, you get the idea that he knows that there's a distraction. But the fact that he's the only smart one, it's like that's the first thing you do is distract him over here so we can fucking get over here. It's
what is the line? He says something about how this isn't their mission, and they go, well, then why are they attacking it? And he's like, dumbass, distraction.
Yes.
And speaking of missions, you get Hera and Omega. They have their own little solo mission for the first time, right? They're supposed to sit back at a distance.
Right, but Choppa's caught.
And then Wrecker's like, you're going to let them go alone? Like, they're going to get to go alone? And they're like, yeah. They're all like kids away from their parents for the first time. I thought that was kind of cute.
Blowing shit up.
Yeah, blowing shit up. So, you get to see Chopper's supposed to go in and try to, take the auto.
He's a crafty son of a bitch, too. I like it where they show him hide behind the wall and he peeks out at the stormtrooper, scanning the fucking droid, and then he comes creeping the other way. That's like...
He's got no chill either. So he goes to behind the other fucking droid that's using the terminal, and instead of waiting in line, he just fucking smokes them.
Murders them.
I was like, Chopper, you're such a little fucking... So that droid's like a hulking smoke, and then all of a sudden Chopper's in there trying to use it, and like, I can't get the autocannons off.
Right.
And then he gets captured by a couple of fucking stormtroopers.
Well, you're not supposed to be here.
And Chopper, it's funny when you look at the voice credits, it says Chopper as himself. And we know that Filoni was actually the voice of Chopper, but I love how it says Chopper as himself. Because Vanessa Marshall does Hera, the gal who does Hera later on. She also did Hera as the younger gal. And they asked her about that as far as like what did you do? How did you figure out how to do that and change her voice and all that kind of stuff? And she's like, well, I kind of wanted to do like a halfway between Cham's French accent and where I end up. So it was kind of in the middle, like a softer French accent. That's how she decided to do that voice.
You think she took speaking classes to lose her accent? Like Arnold did when he came to America?
You're talking about Hera?
Yeah.
Yes, she did something to shed it because she did not, you got to get rid of that accent.
I liked it.
She watched a lot of American TV.
She didn't like being associated with the French. Parlez-vous français?
American TV. Beamed into her galaxy. a lot of different strokes and Price is Right and all that kind of shit.
Big fan of the Wonder Years.
So then Howzer becomes the hero that we're all hoping he is and basically warns them, hey, you're going to go out that door and get there. It's a trap. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we get to that point, Tech is the Hera and...
Is this where he says that line?
Yeah, he does that line. He's like, your haphazard and dangerous flying has really been... Or he's like, it's difficult for both of us.
Yes.
Like talking about him and the rest of the people. I was like, oh, get him, Tech. But Hera gets to come into her own. You see her as a pilot. She's like scooping around. She comes in, does her thing, destroys the power generator or whatever, the shields, to take the autocannons off, and then they get Chopper. Chopper does his little fucking...
I know. The
into the
door
front of the
opens up
plane.
and he's in right away.
Yeah.
Well, in parallels to Rey, with Hera there, as far as like taking off and smashing into stuff and then like figuring it out really quickly. Oh, I got it. And also a lot of parallels with Hera and Luke, being like on this planet off in the outer rim and really wanting to go somewhere else. Like she kept telling her dad she wanted to go somewhere else and she wanted to be a pilot.
Yes.
So there's a lot of parallels with, the main
Well, when
characters
they
we've
open
seen.
it up before she's discovered by, was it Howzer? It was just a couple of troops, but she's like, gliding her hand through the clouds, wants to be up there.
Right.
Another parallel, too, that was in the beginning of the episode that I have in my notes, but I forgot to mention, the message she sends over the comm channel.
Leia.
She's Leia, right?
Yes.
She's in the same position. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. And then you see her, like, insert the thing into the droid. And
it comes right over to his little computer. He's like, oh, we've got the coordinates. Let's go.
You gave her our comms sequence? Like, well, yeah, just for an emergency. It sounds like an emergency. What did I do wrong, Dad? You're grounded.
But then Howzer, back to that Howzer bit, he tells them to escape. They go find Orn Free Taa's like secret ship and sneak out of there. But then he opens the door, just fucking walks out there like a boss. Did you think Crosshair was
Gives
going to
his
shoot him?
Morpheus speech.
Well, yeah, gives his speech to the troops. Is basically like the Empire's doing some bad shit here, guys.
Yep.
Who's with me? I'm done with this.
We didn't come here to do this. We came here to do a different job.
Right.
Who's going to stand with me? I'm Jerry Maguire.
And some of them did. Some of them put their arms down and did, but then the rest didn't.
I was expecting Crosshair's mid-speech.
I thought he was going to shoot him.
Cap.
Like,
Yeah.
I was expecting that. Yeah, but he ends up letting him finish his little thing. He's like,
He's got a fucking itchy trigger finger. So I was
well, now that that's
surprised that he
over,
held
it's-
off on that.
How well stocked do you think Orn Free Taa's escape pod was? Do you think there's a bunch of snacks in there?
Oh, yeah. Mini bar.
Full mini bar? That guy's not going anywhere without food.
There's all that's in here is peanut M&Ms. What the hell?
They should have cut to fucking Wrecker in there with that candied popcorn. Just like fucking going to town in the back. Oh, look at all this stuff. Crate dragon meat.
Let's cut out.
Wow. Crate dragon jerky.
So then Hunter, tells the Syndulas, like they try to pay him, and he's like, "Keep it, like you're gonna need it." And they said, "Oh well, there's their next mission is to kind of organize against the Empire," and they're like, "Yeah, that's not us. We got shit to do here."
Right.
And then you get the tearful goodbye between Hera and Omega. Thanks for believing in me and all that kind of thing. I thought it was a really good way of making Omega be, quite an impactful character for what's to come.
Well, and then they end the episode with Crosshairs getting the go to go after his brothers.
Back on the case.
Yep. Yeah.
He's going to go after him.
Yeah, Rampart says he underestimated him, and he's like, permission to hunt them down. Which is funny because you're like, at this point, it's like, does he have it in him? Because it's the whole batch against him, and every time he tries to get him, he fucks it up. He's just going to keep after it.
He's like, I know you guys, but you guys know that I know you guys, and I know that you know that I know you guys. So
Right.
what are you guys going to do? So it's like, Yeah, he knows them like he knows that they're textbook moves, but he also knows that they know that he knows. He's operating behind the 8 ball because they could be like, okay, well, Crosshair's here. He knows that we're going to attack this, and he's expecting us to do this.
They have to change the routine.
We're going to change but he's also expecting us to change the routine. So what are we going to do? We're going to do exactly what we're going to
We'll
do.
do
both. Back to Princess Bride. This is like the poison. You would think that I would think that you would.
Yes.
What is
it's in both. What's he always say?
Inconceivable.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it kind of leads to like what's next. The next episode is called Infestation. I don't know what the fuck that is. That could be a one-off. I'm not sure. But the one after is War Mantle, which is that's that Tarkin program with the conscripts and all that stuff. So that's where I think you're gonna see. That sounds pretty tasty. I'm excited for that episode.
What do we have? 4 episodes left?
Yep, 4 episodes.
Okay.
4 episodes left. 2 more recordings for us.
It's gonna get dark.
Yeah, if you want that malt, send in some emails, write some reviews. Do you think there's going to be a big battle on Camino? Or do you think they're going to save that for season 2?
I don't know if there's going to be a season 2. I'm really curious as to where they're going with this. Like, are they doing one-offs, just filling in gaps with different stories? Mm-hmm. I don't know. We haven't, because if there's going to be a season 2, they just haven't announced it and they're already working on it because it takes a while to animate shit.
Yes.
I mean, if they greenlight a season 2 and they're not working on it yet, we're not going to see season 2 for 2 years.
That's quite possible, for sure. Or that's been in the works the whole way, like you said.
Right.
It makes me think, though, like, are we going to have the new Stormtrooper crew against the clones at some point? Is there going to be some sort of clone uprising? I mean, you got guys like Howzer who are like, fuck this. So
yeah, that's true.
It just makes you think, is there going to be some battle between those two? Or something seems like it's got to happen on Camino where Namaste is and all that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out for sure. I don't really have any like feeling one way or the other. I mean, not like gut feeling as to how it's going to go. Right? Like,
well, I still think there's something to the secret that we're not aware of yet. There's more going on.
I agree.
Why they're hiding her? So I mean, there's a lot to learn. Where they're going to end up? Like, I can't imagine this is going to have a nice bow tie at the end of it. Like, oh, there's our story. Moving on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because there's a lot of different storylines there. You've got what's going to happen to the Bad Batch. What's their next move? What's going to happen? Where is Omega from? And how did all that happen? And then, of course, the roots of the rebellion.
Yeah, and does it end dark? Like, does Crosshair take one of them?
You did it.
I know. Does he do it? Does he get one of them to join one way or another? So then, because you're not expecting that. The end of it, we're expecting Crosshair's inhibitor trip to get the kaput, and he joins back with his brothers, right? Like that's the happy ending. So what are they going to do differently? Like the to shock and awe us. Like, oh, I need to see the next season because they're not going to do anything to
Omega.
Yeah. Right.
Well, they already kidnapped her once, like so they could certainly go that route again. That she gets abducted again or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you would end it on a dark note. There's a lot of different ways you could go. I guess somebody could die. That's certainly one thing that could happen.
Sure.
I want a Crosshairs versus Chad Bane fight, and then just for the dialogue alone. For the fucking lines of speech.
Because they'd be correcting each other. It's Crosshair, not Crosshairs. Chad. No, it's Cad.
They call me Cad, not Chad.
Now, at the moment, are there bounty hunters still after her? Like, I would think that.
I would think so.
Chad Bane is still looking for her, right?
I don't know if he is. Maybe, because he obviously the payday went bye-bye. So I don't know if he's still after it or he's like, okay, fuck that. That didn't work out. I wasted my time. I mean, obviously, Fennec is not because she's like, pump the brakes on that.
She was called off. Yeah,
they're fine. But you wonder if, I always forget the other dude's name. Who's the main Kaminoan guy? It's Namaste and whatever his name is. Anyway, that guy I would think could still be looking to get her back. So I'm assuming there's still people out there looking for her.
Yeah.
And we talked about maybe Boba shows up at some point. I don't know if that happens.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of story threads going on here.
We're running out of time, though. So
right.
Yep. 4 episodes to wrap it up.
Yep. All right. Thanks. What do you guys, you listeners, let us know what you think of our tremendous theories.
That are always accurate.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the mall bag.
Hello there.
You've got mail.
So we have one email from Jeannie. She says, hey guys, I'm currently working, quote unquote, and I cannot stop thinking about music. Not a horrible thing as I'm currently working on notes and not running group. What does she do for a living?
She's in a running group.
Right.
She runs.
Oh, is that what it is?
She's
I was like, did she do like work with
really?
addicts or something? I was trying to figure out what that
yeah.
running
So she's a social worker.
isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I believe so.
Gotcha. I didn't know what she did.
Jeannie, what do you do? Tell us. Email the show.
As she did.
Again.
Email again. But it has got my head turning. I want to know what distracted you this week. What distracted you this week? I know that you got a lot going on there, Jay.
There's always a distraction in my life.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, let's see. Yesterday, I had a refrigerator that just quit working, so that was a big distraction in my day.
And all your food was dead?
All of it was, well, because when I left for work that morning, now the refrigerator every once in a while just turns into an asshole, and it'll like warm up a little bit, and then it cools, so everything's fine. And I was like, this is exactly fine. Well, but I was leaving for work. I meant to text my daughter and be like, hey, make sure all the doors are closed, because sometimes my kids will leave the freezer door open a little bit, and then that sets the whole thing, it takes 24 hours for the fucking thing to work right again. Did not work right, didn't want to, so I had to pull the whole thing out, clean it all out. I lost hundreds of dollars in food in the freezer and the fridge. Reset the whole thing. So far it's working, but it's not down to temperature yet, so I'm still a little bit worried, but we'll see. So that was a huge distraction yesterday.
As soon as you restock it, I'm sure it'll go out again.
That's why I haven't restocked it yet. Yeah, because I was like, I'll go grocery shopping and throw a couple things in there. I'm like, nope.
Well, speaking of distractions, you said something about your kids leaving the door open on your fridge, and that kind of just spawned something in my mind. I was sitting in there in the living room watching Bad Batch this morning, and Cole comes walking in and asks me a question, and I was drinking my coffee, and it was kind of hot in my house. I have my temperature set at like 72, and I was like, I'm going to turn it down a little bit. I was like, Cole, go over to the thermostat. What's it say? And I look on his face for like to touch the thermostat. Like that fucking cracked me up so bad. I was like, "This is the one time if I ever catch you touching this thermostat again." And he started because I saw the look on his face, and then like
I get to touch
it's a dad. It's like it's a dad rule. Don't let me catch you. Who's touching the thermostat? The kids are touching the thermostat. So it was really funny. That was a little bit of a distraction for me.
You could put a password on it so they can't fuck with it.
My kids would never dare. I'd cut their hand off if they touch my thermostat.
Well, you heard it here first, people.
Don't cross me, children. If I catch you fucking with my thermostat.
Now, will you give them like a humanoid Luke hand or an Anakin, like more mechanical hand?
Well, I'm going to let them learn their lesson and go a year without having a hand
Just
at all.
stumpy.
Oh, man.
No appendage.
Okay.
And then, we'll see what happens if they earn it.
They got to earn it back.
They got to earn it back. Earn their privilege. If I catch them on that thermostat again, they'll lose another one. 2-strike rule in the household.
Well, as I told you guys before we were recording, my biggest distraction this week was hockey because I was trying to organize the start of our new league season and then also a tournament we're doing right now. So it takes a lot of work. Like I do a lot of coaching and stuff with youth sports.
Yeah,
there are a lot of similar things going on here where I have to wrangle a lot of adult men and be like,
"Oh,
hey guys,
you're the man for the job."
Yeah.
Hey guys,
did you check your spreadsheet?
I was going to say, they had you organizing the league. Who would have thought?
It's just for my team. I just organize for my team. But I'm sure I bug the league organizer all the time, like way too much. Like, God damn, this guy emailed me again. Yeah.
Hey,
yes, Matt, we're all on schedule.
Matt here, checking in. I know line 5 on the spreadsheet says this.
Just making sure there will be ice. Please respond immediately.
Can you confirm? The response 10 minutes later. Did you get my first email?
He does the thing. Hey, can someone answer me, please?
Now, I have a Zamboni in my garage if you need to use it.
All right.
We love Matt.
She says, also, if you could own any droid from the Star Wars universe, which one? I added a Star Wars question. So proud of myself.
Oh, good. Yeah.
BB-8.
Ooh, that's a good choice. I was going to say Chopper. I like Chopper.
Okay.
A little attitude.
Yeah, he's got some attitude.
Yeah.
I thought not 3PO for you, Cole?
God damn it. Yeah, I'd own him so I could just fucking dismantle him, put him back together, torture him until his circuit's fried. Put Mike Claiborne's picture on his face and just kill it.
Babu Frick on standby. Like, you just keep him on retainer every time C-3PO fucking X up. You're going to erase his memory.
Babu Frick. Oh, the guy. Yeah, okay. I was like, what are you talking about?
Every time you give C-3PO look like he's one of your kids, he starts fucking trembling.
I keep him in my coat pocket. I open the coat and pops out. 3PO, you got a problem? We can have a problem here? Yeah. It's like on Don't Be a Menace. Do we have a problem here?
Some of my favorite, in retrospect, exchanges in Star Wars are Han and 3PO. Like the line, shut him up or shut him down is such a fucking great line. Mm-hmm. And then also when there's at some point where 3PO's trying to tell him something and he covers his mouth. Yeah. Like that's going to make him quiet.
I like the hurry up, Goldenrod, or you're going to be a permanent resident as they're fucking running through the fucking Hoth.
Hoth.
Yeah.
I think I'd go IG-11.
Oh.
Quill turned that thing into a very use. It could do ranch work. It could protect the baby. It could still fuck people up.
You
It was
are
kind
right.
of
Yeah.
multi-purpose.
I didn't even think about IG-11.
Yeah, I didn't even think of the functionality. Like, who would have thought Matt would have brought the droid into his home and had him? I figured you would be more of a Lando slash. What's
Like
her
in
name?
love with his droid?
Yeah. What was
What
the
is
one?
her? What is her line? L3. What's her line on that? Trust me, it works. She
Yeah.
says that to
Yes.
Kira.
Yeah.
I figured Matt would do the whole, the artificial intelligence thing that he's fucking.
Oh yeah, like
You know what I'm talking
yeah.
I can't fucking.
That's why
think.
he has an issue with it. It's because the relationship didn't work out.
I'm scorned. I'm scorned robot lover.
Fuck you! I'll go for IG-11. I don't even need you.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeannie, for sending that in. Really appreciate it. Everybody else, send in an email. You can win the malt.
Yeah, you can win the malt, and we want to hear what you think. How's the season going to end? What are your thoughts?
Yep.
Speculation.
For sure.
Also, pro tip: if you guys want to try something interesting, I set my wake up alarm to the theme from The Mandalorian. It's nice. It's a good way to start your day every morning. It's a
Slow build.
Like, what's going on here?
It kind of gets you marching.
Yeah,
Would you say that?
moving.
Would you say that is the way?
I would say
To wake up?
that is the way.
Okay. We're not ending the show yet. We got a factoid.
Oh, right. I forgot about the factoid.
Okay, so I was looking up stuff. I was like, I need a factoid, and I discovered. Hold on, I have to find it again. In the original trilogy, due to have you read any of the R.W. Rinsler's Rinsler? Yeah, his like the big coffee table book that he's done. He for each movie, like he goes into the development of the scripts. Like the first one, A New Hope. Talks about like how drastically different Star Wars was before it became the script that Lucas was going to do.
It does it like page 1. This was a fucking hot mess.
It was very different. I can't remember how many like script revisions there were, but it talks about
all
how,
the Star Killer stuff, like Luke Star Killer.
yes,
And all
yes,
that stuff. Yeah.
and how he created ILM and TH, like all the stuff that had to come together to actually make the first movie.
Footnote: I never signed off on the Luke Leia kiss. Just putting that out there. Incest is not cool.
They're really super detailed and super interesting, and you've got to be like you want to know the minutia. And I like all the behind the scenes stuff, so I really got into those books. But I never read the Return of the Jedi book. But the reading into it, he says that there's a conversation between Lawrence Kasdan and George Lucas, and his initial thoughts for ending the movie was when he lifts the helmet off of Vader. He wanted to Luke takes the helmet and puts it on himself and says, "Now I'm Vader." And he actually, goes to the dark side, and he's going to rule the universe. That's how they were going to end the fucking series.
Whoa.
Yeah, and Kasdan was like, I really like that fucking ending. Like, no one is going to see that coming.
My brother Zach, my older brother, always told me, and so I don't know if he was just full of shit or not, but he always told me that Luke goes to the dark side at some point in some obscure books that he read, and I doubt that it was canon, or I don't know, but he always mentioned that to me, that Luke takes over after he kills his dad, or after his dad dies. And he becomes part of the dark side. So I wonder where maybe that's what he was going off of.
Like one of the books just spun off from that idea. That could be.
Anyway, who's our big Star Wars nerd? Is it Brian Auer or?
Brian's read them. I think Mike Laybourne's read the books. And
Do not say his name.
And so has Rural Farm Boy, right?
Rural Farm Boy. Ty from the Wayfinder pod who listens to our
Yeah.
show, he's deep into the books. Like I've been asking him questions about it because I still have this like thought at some point I'm actually going to get in, and I still don't even know where to jump in to those books.
Okay.
There's been some suggestions, but yeah, he would know.
Yeah, so that'd be a good starting point for us all if we all want to start reading one of those books. I'd love to pick up some more knowledge from the Star Wars universe. Maybe we could do that.
Yeah, well, we're going to have Ty on later in the fall, and so we should rack his brain on that. It's like try to figure out what he suggests.
He gets one episode to outshine us on his knowledge, and then we got to fucking kick him off.
Too much.
He can bring like the top 5 books that we must read to amp up our knowledge for the canon Star Wars universe.
Yeah, that'd be great. But that's fucking crazy. Like, do you think Luke puts it on at first? Is like, God, this thing smells fucking awful. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm gonna rule the galaxy now.
Dad, you need a mint.
I always just like, as soon as you said he takes his dad's helmet off, I figured he just took it off and punches him right in the face real quick. I've been wanting to do that forever, Dad.
Or he looks at his face and goes, "Oh God." Puts it right back on.
I mean,
need
a sweaty pruned head man, and you're gonna put that helmet on after he. Oh,
It's like, all right, well, you got your look. There you go, pops. Like, I don't even ooh. Keep that thing covered.
I definitely took after Mom.
Or if he just fucking whips out a brown paper bag with eye holes cut in it. Here you go.
Okay, listeners, you didn't see it, but Cole actually acted it out and shook the bag so it opened.
Is that a harmonica you have on, Dad? What is that thing?
He starts playing Piano Man. Ooh.
Fucking Boba Fett and Robert Rodriguez slide into the frame and they start playing.
Well, Boba Fett's got like a one of those fucking violins that you see from The Fifth Element, like when it's purple with like green, neon green strings. The lady from fucking Fifth Element starts singing, comes out. She's like a Twi'lek. She looks like a Twi'lek, doesn't she?
Yeah, very much so. A blue one, yeah.
She's like a mix between a Kaminoan and a Twi'lek. She's very tall and thin, but she also has the
Right. Interspecies erotica.
oh.
It seems to make an appearance on here all the time. Interspecies erotica.
What if I just fucking nailed it and that's actually what she was?
Like that was Luc Besson's idea. It's like
Yeah.
take those two species and merge them and give her one hell of a voice.
Yep.
Okay.
Whatever she
Was
was.
the Fifth Element after Attack of the Clones?
95,
before,
I
wasn't
think.
Fifth Element was before Star Wars
Yeah,
came back.
right.
Yeah.
I
Couple
don't mean
years
to poo-poo.
before.
I don't need to poo-poo on your.
Sorry, 97.
Mm-hmm.
1997.
So 2 years before. 99 was the Phantom Menace, right?
Rep. Yep.
Yeah. Well, maybe they read the books, guys. Go fuck yourself.
And
God.
on that note,
Thanks for listening, everybody. And until next time.
Never tell us the odds. Mike Laybourne eat an ass.
in our experience, there's no such thing as luck.
We have spoken.